Canto number 7 goes from lines 387 to 515. It was originally two cantos. I combined them into one, a little longer than what I've read so far. Canto number 7. Time's strands writhe, whip-like in the sand, each cracking free of the others. So it seems on the ground. But to the eye above, all appear wrapped around one another, a single rope turned from much hemp that drags all men together from birth to births at which God deems that they should rest. Babes ride these snaking cords as do the day's giants, their destinies all alike intertwined. So it is divine behest that, number 1, to a new abundance young Kal-El falls, as Woodrow Wilson preaches in Versailles' ancient halls, while, number 2, from Paris the President sails, entering in triumph a capital where crouch his waiting foes, and the Kents clear a foyer corner, and an old bassinet becomes the scene of Clark's nightly woes. Dark dreams of a rending world plague them. The trauma burns away in small doses as Sarah turns him and pats his sweaty cold head, and, body expiring with his term, withering Woodrow, scorning senatorial amendments, slays his treaty by decree from his bed. His wife governs by women his stead until a normalcy that will flow into Teapot Dome rushes in. Meanwhile, licking his wounds, Woodrow retreats to a house down the street, thence to fade into a coffin that will be laid in the dust in tandem with Bryan's. Then all the lions of the progressive age will have stopped roaring, and the child who will soar as the man of tomorrow can stop pouring out all his woes. The fever breaks. It is 1924. The fires within Kal-El's frame of steely flesh recede, and a mock humanity prevails. It is a cage whose bars he will bend when the time to mend a torn nation unveils itself on history's stage, and the source of his fame stands revealed. Let him until then be concealed on a lonely farm where labor makes for a fine education, to a taste of which we now hastily proceed. Ahead 2 years to 26, where while the cities are heeding the trumpets of hooch and swing, in the sticks they hold to an older rhythm. Clark's 8th birthday is typical, mostly spent in Ma's vegetable patch, hoeing dirt, ripping out weeds, poking deep holes, and dropping seeds, all at a speed that's natural for him, and no one sees to call the thing, or him, odd. He is strong and quick. He crushes rocks that lie in the way of planting, and the days are growing longer, and there is more to do. Milk their few cows, done at sunrise, help Pa with the plowing. How he pushes, Eben exclaims, better than 2 oxen. Then he pauses, swallows enthusiasm, and the memory of his impromptu adoption of 8 years ago, before he starts to wonder about forces his nature tells him men were not meant to know. Help Pa with the plowing, and help Ma in the kitchen with kneading their daily dough. Food fascinates him. His eyes, drawn to a basket on the counter, fix on an apple. They describe the arc of its crown, its slick amber skin flecked with lines of green and white that all together glisten bright. An old carrot, rustic orange hide, tapering down from base to tip, sits next to it. He licks his lips. Then Ma caws, "You'll spoil your supper, Clark," and hands him a bucket. Outside again, it's the opposite of milking. Gravity's against him, but the well's got no feelings, so he needn't pump as gently as with the tender cattle, on whose udders his hands must move softly, like we would pet hen feathers. The black handle, encrusted by rust, already bears the imprint of his grasp. His fingers, like an owl's claws as they grip a field mouse's throat, have formed the iron. As water fills the tin, he looks into it and slips back a week to when the thawing ice transfixed him for hours. He thought he saw some half-forgotten ice-scape, something familiar. Ma rings the dinner bell. He and Pa wash at the well and go into the house together.